The moment my hearing came back, the very first thing I wanted to do was gloat. Specifically, to Lachlan Doyle, my nemesis, my arch-rival. But I didn't expect to walk in on him staring at a Polaroid of me, his voice dripping with pathetic longing. Wifey, when are you finally going to fall for me? So, I made a split-second decision. I kept my mouth shut. I let him believe I was still deaf. I watched his little performance unfold. His hands moved sharply. Why are you here again? But out of his mouth came a completely different story. A whine, really. Boo-hoo. Wifey, you're finally here. We've been at each other's throats since we were kids. And for the past 3 years, ever since the car accident that stole my hearing, he'd been hovering around me like a bad smell. Every single day. Sometimes he'd just show up to annoy me. Other times, he'd pick a fight using sign language. Yes, you heard that right. The man actually learned American Sign Language just so he could argue with me. Lachlan had gone to his office at Doyle Holdings early that morning. When I arrived, the receptionist didn't even try to stop me. She knew the drill. Me storming into his office to pick a fight was basically a weekly ritual at this point. The front desk staff smiled and nodded at me as I passed. I nodded back, turning toward the private elevator. Suddenly, I heard whispers behind me. Actual, audible whispers. The boss's lady is here again. God, I ship them so hard, Mr. Doyle's face is going to split from smiling so much today. I froze. I turned around, confused. The receptionists, realizing I was looking at them, immediately shut up and pretended to work. The boss's lady? Mr. Doyle? Are they talking about Lachlan? Does that mean Lachlan has a girlfriend? Before I could process this earth-shattering information, the elevator dinged. Top floor. I pushed open the heavy oak doors to Lachlan's office. He was the only one there. He was sitting on his leather sofa, staring intently at something in his hand. He looked completely mesmerized. I hadn't even taken a full step inside when I heard him sigh. A deep, pathetic sound. Wifey, when are you finally going to fall for me? Wifey? Oh, so he was pining over someone. Interesting. I crept closer, dying to see which poor, unfortunate soul had captured Lachlan Doyle's cold, dead heart. I peeked over his shoulder. The photo in his hand looked familiar. Wait. Holy shit. That was me. It was an old Polaroid, the edges worn white. Judging by my baby face, it must have been taken years ago. Lachlan finally sensed my presence. He jumped like he'd been electrocuted, slamming the photo face down on the coffee table. His face contorted into a scowl. His hands moved sharply, signing aggressive ASL at me. Asterisk, why are you here again? You don't make any sound when you walk. Asterisk, his eyebrows were furrowed, looking for all the world like my presence was physically painful to him. But for the first time in 3 years, I caught something else. A flicker in his eyes. Raw, barely contained adoration. Lachlan Doyle likes me? Suddenly, a mischievous thought bloomed in my mind. I decided right then and there not to tell him my hearing was back. Not yet. I wanted to watch this performance. I watched his hand sign. Asterisk, get out. I'm busy. Asterisk, but out of his mouth came a soft, whiny murmur. Boo-hoo. Wifey, you're finally here. I missed you. My hearing loss happened after I was an adult. At the time, the doctor said there was a chance for recovery, so I never bothered learning to read lips. I always assumed that when Lachlan was mumbling under his breath while signing at me, he was cursing me out. Interesting. Very interesting. I raised my hands and signed back. Why are you stealing my photo? As I signed, I reached out and snatched the Polaroid from the table. I didn't remember taking this photo. Judging by the angle, it looked like a candid shot. Stolen. Lachlan, you sneaky little devil. You really are full of surprises. Lachlan panicked. He lunged forward. Hey, give that back. It's mine. He snatched the photo back, tucking it into his suit pocket. But his hand signed something completely different. Asterisk, I keep it to remind myself of my enemy. Motivation. Asterisk.